the Maxima marked a surge of creative activity at Nissan, and since then lots of interesting products have followed. Now Nissan has upgraded its flagship sedan by shoehorning an impressive new engine under its hood. Maximas have always benefited from V6 power, but nothing quite like the new motor. It's a 3-litre unit with 24 valves and a pair of overhead cams, all adding up to a super smooth 190 horsepower power plant. The Maxima is a fairly conservative styling job by some current standards, and this may have cost it some sales early in its life. Nissan says it's free of cliches, but some might call it a little dull. Recently, though, Maxima sales have boomed in some markets, with some areas reporting 250% increases. On our test car, the trunk was decorated with a spoiler, and the rear lights are merged with a full-width reflective strip. This is not one of the car's most attractive styling features. All doors can be unlocked with a key from either driver or passenger side, a feature others should copy. Worthy of note are neat, folding door handles. Our tester was equipped with a 5-speed manual gearbox, a nice thing to have in a world where most V6s are mated to automatics. It was a delight to use and really got the best out of the new motor. A big safety plus is Nissan's award-winning viscous slip differential, aiding front-wheel traction enormously when the roads get slippery. 100 kilometers an hour is easily reached in 9 seconds, and fuel economy is in the 11.5 litres per 100 kilometers range for all-around use. Price tag is around $29,000, and Nissan's warranty provides a basic 3 years or 80,000 kilometers. Like other recent offerings from Nissan, the interior is very well designed in just about every respect. Nissan has wisely abandoned the old brushed chrome and molded stitching look and switched to European style and good taste. Climb into a Maxima and you'll almost start looking for the 3-pointed star on the hood. With similar models from BMW and Mercedes starting at many thousands of dollars more, the folks at Nissan must be feeling pretty pleased with themselves. Our car came with leather trim, and very nice it was, but the black and charcoal cabin was a bit oppressive. Headroom is excellent and rear passengers get huge amounts of space. On the minus side, if you sit in the back, you're deprived of any kind of oddment stowage. Also lacking is any means of lowering the rear seat backs to thread long loads into the cabin. The trunk is large, though, and has a low lip to lift heavy loads over. And what about those white instrument dials? I suppose it could be called a gimmick, but it's an attractive gimmick and one I'd be happy to live with. At night, the dials become white on black in the conventional manner. The steering wheel is just about perfect and has cruise control buttons located on its hub. The usual roster of goodies normally found on this class of car are included. Owners get power-operated moonroof, windows and trunk release, in addition to other conveniences already mentioned. Other worthy features include a self-propping hood, a dashboard bin cleverly combined with a drinks holder, and driver's side lumbar support adjustment. The Maxima is placed somewhere between well-equipped Honda Accord-type family sedans and the more costly luxury models with 6-cylinder power. Rivals include the Toyota Cressida and to some extent the upper-end Camry. Also in the hunt is Nissan's own G20 Infiniti and the new Mazda 929. The Lexus ES300 is close in price, and domestic opponents include the Pontiac Bonneville, Buick Park Avenue, Ford Taurus SHO, and Oldsmobile 88. Potential buyers should also check out the Acura Vigor, Volvo 960, Saab 9000, and BMW 325i. Well, I give this one 3/4 of a tank driving dollar value because it's a very underestimated car.
My big problem with this car, and it's not a big one, I guess, but it looks identical to the new Camry. If you park these things side by side, you can't tell the difference. Surely Jerry Hirschberg and his desire to escape the tyranny of the wedge can do better than this. It's a nice-looking car, but it's identical to the Camry. About those gauges, I think they're absolutely great. I love them. I think they're the best thing in the business.
So do I. I think they look wonderful. I don't know why all gauges have to be black. I mean, I did say that the interior of the car itself was a little bit oppressive, a little dark and so forth. But on the other hand, those gauges kind of brighten it up, and they look wonderful, and they work very well. And I think there's 1 or 2 more cars coming along with that kind of approach.
Yeah, having said that, what I like about the car is that it has a European-ness about it, if I can say that. It's a very European car, despite the fact that it's front drive. Its handling is right up there with BMW. BMW, at least the lower ones, and it's a very good car to throw through corners. You know, you don't realize how good it is, but it's very, very good.
Well, that's quite right. There's not too much to complain about. And I happen to have a friend who was a Mercedes owner for many, many years, and he finally got tired of one or two things about his local service, and he bought one of these Maximas, and he is the biggest Maxima fan you'll meet. He loves the car.
I think Nissan's going to be phoning you when they see this.
Or Mercedes, I don't know, one of the two. Right. But the car is very well made. It's nice to sit in. Most of my complaints are quite minor, but it is all around is a good car, and it makes you wonder why people bother to move up market to Infinities.
You had no problem with headroom. I had a lot of problems with the headroom. I felt it was oppressive in there. I felt that maybe that much clearance between me and the ceiling, and I could have used the Camry, for example, almost identical car, much roomier inside. Not as pretty inside, but roomier.
Well, maybe, yeah. The Camry, don't forget, this is pre-Camry by several years, really. The design of this car goes back quite a while, and maybe Camry was sort of, in a way, sort of descended from it. And I would imagine we won't be too long before we see a new Maxima, and it's going to be probably quite a lot different than this. Nissan is doing some more interesting things, and they're going to people like Jerry Hirschberg in California, getting them to design some of their cars. Okay, it's time to sum up here. What I didn't like about this car, interior a little bit dark and oppressive. Rear stowage, well, there wasn't any really for rear seat passengers, and the rear seats wouldn't fold down in order to thread long loads through. On the plus side, lots of things. Wonderful powertrain, very fine assembly quality, and a very roomy car. Driving dollar value, got to give this 3/4 of a tank. It's almost up there, but it's not quite. It's a very fine car nonetheless.
And it does look like a Camry. We'll be right back.